Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Homeschool Live. I'm Christine, your host, and joining me today is Kelly Poole from Butler Tech. Thanks for coming, Kelly.
Thank you for having me, Christine.
And so we are here to talk about what Butler Tech has to offer for us homeschoolers. But before we do that, I want all of us to learn a little bit more about you, Kelly. Tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Great. Thank you, Christine. So really my role with Butler Tech is I am the recruitment and retention coordinator. So really my role is just educating everyone about what kind of opportunities we offer as far as career pathways. We do have our high school side, but more of my focus is kind of that post-secondary. Once your student graduates, kind of planning ahead of what opportunities are out there. And so I go out to high schools, I meet with homeschool groups, which obviously I think some of that is just knowing what's out there. And then also meeting with adults, obviously at career fairs, things like that. So I've been doing this for about 7 years. I'm just really passionate about helping people know what's out there and not go in a lot of debt, because I know that's always a concern. So that would be the biggest thing. So.
Awesome. So now that you have been working with homeschoolers for so many years now, what do you see as one of the biggest challenges that homeschooling families would face today?
Yeah, I would say really the biggest challenge, I can't say that I've homeschooled myself to know that part, but I would think in seeing our students is just the parents knowing about the opportunities, which is why I think it's great that you guys do, different opportunities to learn about the options out there, but just knowing what options are out there after high school. And a lot of times within high schools, they share that information. Really, the parents are having to do a lot of that research to figure out what opportunities are out there for their child.
Mm-hmm. And what sort of advice would you give for those parents who are looking for those opportunities? Because it can get quite overwhelming. You type it in a Google search, and then all these things come up. What kind of advice would you give to a parent who's searching?
Well, first and foremost, I would just challenge not to totally put career technical, centers out of the mind. I know a lot of times it's like, oh, college. You're going to always hear from the colleges. And I always say there is nothing wrong with college. If your child is college bound, that is great. But not all students or children are. So it's something that even if they go through one of a career technical centers program to get those skills and certifications, that they can't go on for college. So that's one thing I would just advise is doing the research. Like I know for our school specifically, we do offer like shadowing. Like if you ever want to come and, sit in a class and say, hey, is this something I would want to do? That they have that opportunity, meet the students, meet the instructors. That's a big piece for us, is just making sure it's a good fit. That would be the biggest thing.
Yeah, I can honestly say that I think a lot of homeschoolers, just within our audience and what I've seen comments to our in social media, that there are quite a bit of parents who are looking at those technical schools because college is not for everybody. I mean, it's for many, obviously, and there's so many choices with that. But yeah, to rule out the technical side of education, the tech side, that is an important point, and I'm sure our viewers are going to be checking out Butler Tech. So please let us know, what is Butler Tech and what does it look like for us?
Yeah. So with ours, so sometimes even people thinking about like healthcare, like nursing, a lot of times, and I'll be honest, I'm guilty of this, is when I first started at Butler Tech, I thought like you had to go to college to be a nurse. And we actually have a licensed practical nursing program that, and then you can also go on, we have an RN to bridge program too. So even becoming a registered nurse, a lot of people don't realize that. One of the big things about career technical schools like Butler programs are under a year. So if it's something where, yeah, and like some of our programs are as short as less than a month. So it's something where it's, you're not going to school necessarily 2 4 years. It's getting those skills certifications in a short amount of time. And then we also help with the employment side. So that's a huge piece too, is being able to help, your child to connect with those different, whether healthcare partners, business industry. We also have firefighting, paramedic. So there's just so many different, facets of careers and they're all in demand. So that's the nice thing too, is that,
Yes.
once you get those skill certifications, there's employment out there. So that's a big piece too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're located, I guess I should say, I mean, obviously there's career tech everywhere, but Butler Tech, we're specifically located in Southwest Ohio.
Okay. Good to know. And you had two campuses. I think you
Correct.
mentioned, yes.
Yeah, and they're within 5 minutes of each other. So that's the
Perfect.
nice thing.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
And so, yeah, definitely I had this, I will put the website in the comments for you, so you can check out all of the options there. And so how, I mean, I love the fact that they're short, because I mean, I for me, I went to college and university, and I feel like it was such a long period of time of just, and you just want to get the skills and get out there, while you're young, right?
Right. Right.
And so I
Yes.
love the fact that you have the short programs, and so this is definitely something that's going to help homeschool families, especially with the cost. And I think when we were talking before, you had mentioned something about the cost too, like trying to make sure that, keep that in mind, especially for homeschooling families. Is there anything else that you do for homeschooling families that are specific to us?
Yeah. Well, speaking to the financial side, and this is across the board, obviously, but just knowing that with these being in demand, that there is a lot of grant money out there. A lot of our programs, if they're over so many hours, we are a clock hour school, so it's not a credit like college. So it's
Okay.
basically any program over 600 clock hours, which would be like the nursing, the paramedic. We have police academy, different things like that. They're eligible for the FAFSA funding. So people think that's just for college, but the FAFSA can also qualify like for Pell Grant. I think right now you can, if you max out at Pell, it's like $7,395. And a lot of our programs don't, comparably, like none of our programs, the nursing is probably the most expensive, at like 20,000, but then we have programs as low as 1,000. So there's a pretty big range there.
Yeah, and it depends on which one you choose, obviously.
Correct. That's all on the website.
So how is there a process for homeschoolers to come into Butler Tech? Because I know different colleges, different universities, they have a certain procedure for adult education. Do you have a specific process just for homeschoolers? Because it's going to be something that they'll ask.
Yeah, so kind of like back to the whole shadowing things. And I'd be a familiar face if you're in the area for me specifically. But I do all the information sessions and like in person. A lot of times we can do one-on-ones too, because I know schedule-wise sometimes with homeschooling. But basically just if they go on the website, each program actually has its own web page, which is really great, because then if they have a specific interest, they could do it's a get started button that they just fill out information, and they get that automated email that includes everything that they would need to know. It also has, because I'm a big believer, I know it's like, okay, what is that next step? What do I have to do to secure a spot in a class? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So every one of the programs has an enrollment checklist. So that's on the website as well. So it basically shows, and we also work with families, like if a student has any kind of learning disability, has an IEP or works with anyone, we do have a student services director that we can work through that if there's accommodations, things like that too. So that's a huge piece that we also offer even on our adult side. So yeah.
Awesome. So if you had students that maybe they're not quite ready to graduate high school yet, but maybe they've got 2 more years to go. How soon should they be looking and researching something like this
Right.
post-secondary education?
Yeah. I would say really it's never too early to just kind of have an idea of general focus. And I'm one that's always available as far as, just that career discussion, just to kind of narrow it down. I know sometimes that's the harder. It's like I have a freshman in high school. It's like, oh, she's all over the place. Kind of like,
Yeah.
how do you get that experience to know? So I think just the researching any opportunities that they might have in the area to be able to do that and shadow. I know a lot of like our career tech, we also have the high school side as well. So some schools, they do have, like we have homeschool students that for our senior only programs that
Okay.
they have access. So sometimes there are, depending on the career tech, there's opportunities for them to even take classes while they're in high school as a homeschooled student to do like the lab part, like our welding. We have medical assisting that we do on the high school side as well. So there are some opportunities depending on the school that they can also check out. So
Awesome. Awesome. Do you have
sometimes
a,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say sometimes it's helpful for them to decide if they can do something in high school, whether it's something maybe they don't want to do also. So there's always that.
Yes.
So
And this is like my boys are only 12 and 8 right now, so I don't have to necessarily worry about it yet, but I do have it in mind as many homeschoolers. We want to use those high school years to actually, help them pick so that they're building and walking along the path that they want to go ahead of time. So whatever their interests are, whatever. So we want to start pointing them. Okay, so that program you want to do nursing. Look at here's Butler Tech. So let's see what you need. Let's start looking at the requirements. The what else can we build upon that so that when you get there, you're just going to naturally flow right into it. And so this is I'm taking notes. All of these things, I'm taking notes just so when I get there, I'm going to be
Yeah.
fully prepared. And so, is there an age limit? For because I know some places, I know some universities, for example, can offer as low as young as 16. You can
Mhm.
start taking a university level or credit level course,
Right.
and so that would translate into your overall program once you get there. Is there something like that, or is there an age limit? Just in case they were starting younger
Yes.
than.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great question. And I think this is in most states, but like for our state tested nurse aid, if you have a child who's really interested in getting their foot in the door in healthcare, our program is less than a month to get your STNA. It's your state tested nurse aid. Some states, they call it CN, certified nursing assistant. So that's one that you only have to be 16 for that. So you do not need a high school diploma. So that would be one. Most of our other programs, because we are an accredited school, do require a high school diploma or equivalency, the homeschool. So those are a little more difficult, as far as being able to do ahead of time, only because they come with those certifications and you do have to be 18 most of the time for
Okay,
those to be able to take the
right,
certification test. So
of course, yeah.
I think the only other example would be we have CDL truck driving that you don't necessarily have to have. You do have to be 18, but you don't have to have your high school diploma to start the program. So that would be the other example. But yeah. So, and then obviously on the high school side, depending on parents' location, I would definitely recommend looking into the high school side of some of those programs, because a lot of times they can do like the lab portion, but then they can still teach the academics from home on some of them,
Awesome.
depending on the school. So,
That is good to know. And so it is in person. So someone like me who's in Canada can,
correct.
can
Yes,
unfortunately.
I know.
So if you are in the area, and say the area again,
We're in Southwest Ohio, so near
Southwest Ohio.
Cincinnati. If people are familiar with, yes, don't
So
don't
I will
hold
I
it
will
against
pop.
us, Cincinnati Bengals, or
Okay.
that's right.
I am popping the link up on the screen and it'll be in the comments as well. Uh, is there anything that they need to know on how to reach either you or Butler Tech for more information?
Yeah, so on our website, there is on all of the enrollment checklists, it's that specific program administrative assistant. So if they have a specific question, but can also always reach out to me. It's the Poole K at butlertech.org. So I'd be happy to kind of, and even if you need help kind of finding in your own area where you might be able to connect with a career tech, we can always do that as well. So I usually have pretty many connections in different places.
Yeah, which is so it's comforting for a parent to know that, you know, you don't have to do this by yourself.
Correct.
Because every stage is scary. So I'm prepping for the high school years, bracing myself. But like I know, and then I'll be fine, and then it'll be okay. What are they going to do after?
And I that's one thing I do love, the homeschool community. I feel like you guys have such a great network of sharing opportunities too. So I think that's awesome that you know you have
so
support. So
we are so thankful. Like honestly, we have interviewed quite a bit through the Homeschool Live, and all of you have been so great and so supportive of the homeschooling community. So we appreciate all of the resources that you have available to us. And so if you're listening, hop on to butlertech.org and check out all of the options there. And if there, do you have anything else, Kelly, that you'd like to just say you've thought of and wanted to mention?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just thank you for this time. And just I wanted to say to parents, like, don't, you know, there's so many opportunities out there that a lot of people just aren't even aware, and every school is a little different. So yes, you have to do a little research, kind of help and narrow down, but just know that I'm a resource too if anybody ever has any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly, for coming on today and letting us know more about Butler Tech, and for letting us get to know you a little bit more. And it'll be nice to know there'll be a friendly face at Butler Tech for those of you who are going to check them out. And so we will sign off for now, and we'll see you again for another Homeschool Live soon. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thank you, Christine.